y'all, I'm CassB and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys a quick and easy tutorial on how to use this bias tape making kit that I just got from Amazon. I'll plug the link in the comment section, but let's take a look. Okay, so looking at the kit, it's got essentially a list of the tools that comes in it, so you just kind of open it right up, take your list of tools out. It says all the attachments that it comes with, a couple pins, a couple things just to make it a little bit easier. You've got a guide in there as well, but we're going to be looking specifically at our clips here today. So, alright, so we've got different sizes in here. This one is 3/4 of an inch. We've got as well our 1/2 of an inch, and then we've got our 1/4, and ultimately our 1 inch. So that is talking in terms of the, of course, size that you're going to be finished with. So whenever you're looking at cutting out your strip, you're actually going to cut whatever double the size of your little tape maker is. So, for example, if this is 3/4 of an inch, which is what we're going to use today, you're going to cut a strip that is 1.5 inches in width, and then of course the length of your strip is however long you want to make it. So specifically, I laid my fabric onto my gridded table, and you can actually see through the fabric, so I know in fact that it is about 1.5 inches in width. And so, for example, if you were using the 1/2 inch bias tape attachment, you would be using or cutting an 1 inch thick strip. So just to give you an idea. Okay, so at this point we're going to move this to the ironing board, and I'm going to show you how to insert your fabric into your tape maker. Okay, so the tools that I'm going to go ahead and tell you that you're going to want to need or going to have is your sewing needle here, just your hand sewing needle, and I have actually used a colorful thread on it. This is really only going to be used to help you feed your fabric strip through your attachment so that then ultimately you can start pressing it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the end of my strip, I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to feed it through. I've just got a knot on the other end, so it just is nice and taut. The reason I say that is because if you're working on fabric in general, and maybe you're using a cotton fabric or something that creases really easily, like that feeds pretty nicely through this without, you know, needing any additional like needle and thread. But because I'm working with a silk fabric, because I wanted to show you guys what it actually looks like using apparel fabric, it's a little bit more difficult to feed it through just because it's not as stiff. So I take my needle, I just kind of drop it down in there, give it a shake, and it comes obviously out the other side. And then this is going to allow me to pull it through the attachment so that it lines up nicely. So just kind of make it nice and straight. Okay, so at this point you're starting to see it actually feed through. A pro tip is you just kind of want to make sure your tape and the end here is actually staying nice and straight and feeding through as straight and evenly as possible. So I'm just going to pull it a little bit more. Alright, so now that we've gotten it started, I'm going to grab my iron, and I'm also going to use a long pin to pull up this little handle here and kind of just stick the pin down into my ironing board, because that'll just keep the bias tape maker in place while I'm ironing and ultimately feeding my fabric through. So. Okay, so you can see at this point on the outer side we've got this really clean finish, and on the inside we've got these really nice and even folds on both sides. Of course, when you're going to sew it down, you'll open it up and stitch right sides together first down in these nice creased channels that you have, and then of course trim your seam allowance ultimately, and then fold it on top of itself like that. So it gives you this really nice clean edge. This is good for a lot of different types of garments. And that's how you do it. Okay, you guys, that is the end of our brief tutorial for today. If you guys would be interested in seeing different applications and different styles of garments and where you're going to be using bias taping, leave your thoughts and questions about that in the comment section. And of course, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.